Hey guys, Raminating Reaper here. So as you can see, it's a quite windy Sunday afternoon, so perfect cinema going weather. So naturally, yes, I'm outside, about to head in to finally see Marty Supreme. Been really looking forward to this. You know, trailers have looked great and hearing nothing but brilliant things. Obviously this is a Safdie joint, well obviously this is Josh's solo effort. Obviously love Good Time, love Uncut Gems, and it's got Timothy Chalamet. So obviously with the Oscar nominations been announced on Thursday, what better time to finally give it a watch, but to find out if it actually lived up to my hype. It's time to head in, get some snacks, and get seated for Marty Supreme. So yeah, I've got my popcorn here and a Sprite, ready to watch Timothy Chalamet play ping pong. So, Marty Supreme. I'm back from seeing it. This, of course, is directed by Josh Safdie, who previously co-directed Good Time and Uncut Gems with his brother Benny Safdie. This, of course, marks Josh's solo directing effort, because, of course, Benny's one, The Smashing Machine, released in October. This has, of course, been nominated for 9 Academy Awards, including, naturally, Best Picture, and also Best Actor for Timothy Chalamet, making him the youngest ever person in Oscar history to receive 3 Best Actor nominations. And so, of course, with all of that awards hype behind it, and some great trailers, I was really looking forward to watching this thing. But is this Safdie production worthy of all the awards hype it's been receiving? Let's find out. So the film follows Marty Mauser, a lowly shoe salesman in New York, working at a shop run by his Uncle Murray, as a means of funding his actual interest, ping pong, because Marty is a man with a dream to not only become a world champion ping pong player, but to become one of the greats, and in turn bring some American recognition to a rapidly growing sport. And so, Marty sets out on a journey, going to great lengths to see this dream through to completion, no matter the cost. So, unlike the Smashing Machine, where Benny very much went solo, here Josh has gathered a lot of the usual Safdie collaborators, including screenwriter Ronald Bronstein, who he co-wrote the film with. And so this very much feels a lot more like a classic Safdie production, which I think really shows in the end result, because this is a goddamn fantastic film. So what I enjoyed about this is that it very much starts out like a standard sports movie narrative, where obviously we have our underdog main character, you know, he has a dream and he very much sets out to achieve it. The opening stretch very much lulls you into a false sense of security though, because quite soon after, this becomes very much classic Safdie fare, you know, that narrative of a simple goal just spiraling further and further out of control throughout the runtime, as this just builds up an atmosphere of stress and chaos throughout, as all of these quite tense scenarios pile up throughout, including armed robbery attempts, run-ins with the police, even a whole subplot involving a missing dog that just builds a tense atmosphere that is incredibly stressful and chaotic throughout in such an edge-of-your-seat way that very much fits the overarching message of the film of, you know, the toll that the search for greatness takes on those seeking it. And that really shines through in the ping pong scenes because the matches here are incredibly fast paced with such a propulsive rhythm that is just so magnetic to watch. And of course, there's some really brilliant filmmaking on display to enhance this. We've got a lot of handheld camera shots, some whip pans, and quite rapid edits, very much fitting with the snappy, fast paced dialogue. There's also a quite high energy synth score from Daniel Lopatin, which is paired up with some quite well placed licensed song choices and a sound mix that is just loud and it really enhances the overall stressful atmosphere of the film. But of course, the whole thing is anchored by the performance of Timothy Chalamet as Marty, and goddamn, he is fantastic here. Marty is a character who is supremely overconfident to the point of arrogance, a real dickhead. And so this is a character who should be quite off-putting, but it's thanks to the sheer charisma and magnetism of Chalamet's performance. The character is incredibly compelling to watch. Not an easy character to root for by any means, but a character who's easy to get invested in. And Marty's whole journey is incredibly compelling, as all the sort of consequences of his terrible decisions pile up around him while he clings on to the hope of keeping his dream alive. It's great, great stuff. And, obviously he crosses paths with a lot of very interesting characters throughout, including Kay Stone, played by Gwyneth Paltrow in a great performance as a movie star trying to relaunch her acting career while also stuck in an unhappy marriage to businessman Milton Rockwell, played by Kevin O'Leary, aka Mr. Wonderful. And yeah, he is great here as well. The character he plays here is obviously rich dickhead businessman, so not too far removed from reality. He is an utterly detestable character, and O'Leary plays it almost too well, to the point where I genuinely believe the on-set direction he was given was just be yourself. It's great stuff throughout. We also have Odessa Zion as Rachel, a childhood friend of Marty's who's stuck in an abusive marriage and ends up caught up in his shenanigans. Yeah, she's great and she has great chemistry with Chalamet. I also enjoyed Tyler the Creator's role as Wally, a taxi driver who's a friend of Marty's. Also, Fran Drescher as Marty's mother. And a notable highlight is Abel Ferreira as Ezra, a quite fearsome mobster who Marty crosses paths with. His whole story was really, really interesting, and it delivers some of the most stressful scenes of the whole film. It is brilliant. But yet, in amidst all the chaos and stress of its overarching narrative, it also fits in some quite well placed moments of humor. Obviously, a lot of it, quite darkly comic, and all of it very, very funny. A particular highlight is an opening title sequence that, if you gave me a million guesses, I would not have got at all. Seriously, absolutely nothing could have prepared me for what the film's opening credits ended up being. Just absolutely brilliant stuff. And of course, it all builds to a proper cracker of a climax where very much, Marty very much faces up to the consequences of the decisions he makes throughout the film, featuring an absolutely electric final ping pong match that is, genuinely had me glued to the screen. And it also somehow manages to fit in some actually quite happy endings, which feels which feels quite surprising to say, given that this is a Safdie film, and a Safdie film of the Good Time and Uncut Gems variety. So yeah, that sentence was something I was not prepared to say. It has a happy ending, and a quite satisfying one at that. Yeah, I loved this film. Bring on Oscar season, I guess. Overall, Marty Supreme is a stressful, tense, chaotic film that is incredibly gripping to watch throughout, carried along effortlessly by a truly magnetic leading turn from Timothy Chalamet, cementing his movie star status. Out of 10, Marty Supreme gets a well-earned 10. So, let me know down in the comments, have you seen Marty Supreme? What did you think of it? Do you think it'll take anything home at the Oscars? What is your favourite Safdie brothers film? And are you excited for what Josh has in store next? Are you excited for that film he has coming up next with Adam Sandler? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.